Okay, so welcome to the first lecture of construction management. Okay, I am taking construction management before other topics because this is a new topic to GATE. Okay, this is a new topic in GATE 2016. So I want to take this topic first because you don't know what weightage will be given to this topic. Okay, so you can pay some special attention to this topic. Is it okay? So let's start with this topic, construction management. Okay, it contains a number of topics, but the most important topic is PERT and CPM. Okay, so in this lecture, that is the first lecture, we will see how to develop a network diagram. Okay, if you are able to develop a network diagram comfortably, then PERT CPM will be very easy. So you pay special attention to this lecture. Okay, now first let's start with some basics, like what is project management. Okay, as you must be knowing, if you are doing some project, the main question that you should ask yourself is, what do we want from our project? Okay, what exactly do we want from our project? What we want from our project is it should be done in low cost, less time, with the optimum use of resources, isn't it? So for these reasons, you need to manage your project. You need to finish your project in time. Okay, you need to keep check on cost, you need to keep check on time. Okay, and you should allot your resources. Okay, allot your resources optimally so that your project can be finished with ease. Okay, phases in project management, this you should remember, this is important. Okay, you have three phases. First one is your planning. Okay, second one is scheduling, and third one is controlling. What you should remember is, when these two are done before you actually start your project. Okay, before the start of project, you have to do all the planning and you have to schedule your activities. Is it okay? But controlling is done during the project. Okay, during the project, one by one we will see what is planning, scheduling and controlling. Let's start with the first thing, that is planning. As I have already told you, planning is done before. Okay, planning is done before start of your project. Is it okay? Before start of your project, you have to do all the planning. What does planning include? First thing that you should, if you are given a project, first thing that you should ask is, what is to be done? Okay, what is the goal that I want to achieve? So that is the first point that you will discuss in your planning. Then you will discuss how you are going to achieve this goal. What are the material required? What is the manpower required? What is the money required? That is the budget. All these things you have to discuss in the planning section. Okay, third thing is, what can be the problems? Okay, this is very important. What can be the problems that can come in your project, and also you will suggest some possible solutions. Is it okay? Is it okay? Okay, this is your planning phase. Okay, moving to the second phase, that is your scheduling phase. Again, I have told you that scheduling is also done before start of your project. Is it okay? Before start of your project. Scheduling means what? Scheduling means that you have to give sequence to your activity. Okay, first this has to be done in this much time, this has to be done in this much time. That is what a scheduling means. Suppose you have a number of activities like A, B, C, D. Okay, so suppose I am starting with A. So I am saying that you have to finish this A activity by 31st. Okay, then I am saying you have to continue with the B activity from 31 to 2, C activity from 2 to 5, and D activity from 5 to 10. This type of plan is called as your scheduling. Okay, in scheduling you also allot resources, okay, in proper amount to complete the activity. Okay, suppose activity A requires 2 labors. Okay, so you will allot 2 labors to this. B will require 3 labor. Okay, C requires 5 labor. Suppose if C requires 5 labor and you provide 4 labors to it. Okay, so obviously the duration of the C activity is increased. If your duration is increased, then your project duration overall will increase. Is it okay? So scheduling is another important component. It takes place before the start of project. Third thing is your controlling. Okay, third part is your controlling. This is done during the project. Okay, when your project is running, then you have to do this. Okay, this is done to check if your actual project is deviating from the original course. Okay, and we have to provide sufficient action to bring it back on proper course. What does this mean is that, suppose your project is running like this. Okay, this is from 0%, okay, to 100%. Is it okay? Now at some point of time, at this point of time, say t, I want to check, okay, I want to check how much my project has been completed. Okay, I want to check how much my project is completed at this point of time. Suppose I get that my project is completed 20%. Okay, my project is completed 20%, but according to my plan it should have been completed 40%. Okay, so you can see from here that your project is actually lagging behind. Your project is lagging behind, so you have to take some action to speed up your project. This is what controlling means. Okay, so these are the three most important points. I will just summarize it very quickly. Okay, you are having project management. Project management means that you have to manage your resources, cost and time effectively. Okay, project management is done in three phases. Okay, first one is your planning. Okay, planning, scheduling and controlling. Is it okay? Planning, scheduling and controlling. This you have to do before the start of project. This you have to do during the course of project. Moving on, this is the basic breakdown of how you are going to manage your project. Okay, you have to manage your project, but what are the tools you are having with you? Okay, so the older tool, okay, I am going from previous period to the modern times. Okay, earlier there was bar chart or Gantt chart. Okay, then there came milestone chart, which was an improvement over this. Further it was improved, and then you have your network analysis, which is the latest in project management. Okay, and in network analysis you have two types of analysis, PERT and CPM, which we will study in detail. Is it okay? So we are going to start with bar chart. Okay, bar chart or Gantt chart. Now bar chart. Okay, what is bar chart? What is bar chart? It's very simple. Okay, suppose what will you do here is you will simply plot your time here. Okay, and you will show your activity here. That is all that is about bar chart. Okay, I have shown you an example. Okay, I have shown you an example. Suppose you are having this type of activities. Suppose I am naming this activity A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Is it okay? So you can see from this bar chart, your activities A starts from time 0 to 10 days. Okay, you can see here activity A starting from 0 and going all the way up to 10 days. Similarly, if you see your B, it starts from 0 to 5 days. Okay, similarly you can see your C from 5 to 15 and so on. Is it okay? So this is what the meaning of bar chart is. Once you have done your scheduling, this is nothing but scheduling. Okay, once you have done your scheduling, you can show your scheduling in this type of graph. Okay, this is called as bar chart. I think it is simple enough so you can understand. It was given by Henry Gantt. The name of the person who made it first was Henry Gantt, so it is also called as Gantt chart. Okay, it is also called Gantt chart on the name of the person who discovered it. Moving on, the advantages and disadvantages. This is very important, especially the disadvantages are very important from objective point of view. Okay, so pay attention especially to the disadvantages. Advantages is very simple. You know, it is very easy to make. It is cheap. Okay, it is cheap and you have good visualization. Okay, you are having good visualization of the entire project. Is it okay? Disadvantages. Now pay special attention. Okay, disadvantages. First one is lack of detail. As you can see, there is not much mentioned in this type of curve. There is not much mention of the intermediate milestones. Okay, you cannot have any variation in time, you cannot check your project, you cannot reschedule your project. Okay, so all these things are not mentioned, so that is leading to lack of detail. Second is reviewing your project is difficult. Reviewing means nothing. You want to monitor your project so that you can control it. Okay, throughout you want to monitor your project. Monitor means you want to keep check of two things, cost and time. Okay, whenever your project is running, suppose your project is running like this. Okay, at every point of time, okay, in some durations, you want to know what is the cost and what is the time that I have been spending, so that you can check whether your project is running properly or not, it is on course or not. Okay, so the review is very difficult in case of bar chart. Okay, activity interrelationship is not seen. Activity interrelationship means what? Activity interrelationship means some activities are like this. Okay, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are constructing a foundation, construction of foundation. Okay, some building is going to be constructed and one activity is construction of foundation. I am calling it activity A. Is it okay? This activity can further be broken into excavation. Okay, excavation. After excavation you have to do steel reinforcement binding. Okay, steel reinforcement binding. Then you have to put the molds. Okay, concreting. Is it okay? Concreting. And then you will have removal of mold. Is it okay? Okay, so this entire construction of foundation, activity A as I am referring, is divided into 5 sub activities. Is it okay? Is it okay? Now I am naming them. Suppose this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Is it okay? So they will run in this type of sequence. 1 will happen, then 2 will happen, then 3, then 4, and then 5. Is it okay? This is called as activity interdependency or activity interrelationship. Okay, you cannot start with 2 until 1 is done. Okay, so 2 is dependent on 1. After 1 is finished, that is after you have completed your excavation, then only you can start binding your steel. Okay, after you have binded your steel, then only you can put your molds. So they are all dependent on the previous activity. So this type of relationship is not shown in bar charts. Okay, time uncertainty is not considered. Okay, this I will tell you in detail when we study PERT. Okay, no concept of critical activity or cost optimization. I mean, it is very simple chart. Okay, it is only for small projects. So if you want to optimize your cost, okay, if you want to see what are the critical activities, you cannot do that in this bar charts. Okay, so this is the disadvantages. Okay, you should remember them point by point. It can be asked in objectives. Reviewing in bar chart, this I will tell you. Okay, how will you review in bar chart? Okay, bar charts are generally not made to review or check how much your project is completed. But if you are hell bent on knowing how much my project has been completed, what you can do is like this. Okay, suppose I am somewhere here, I am somewhere around at the 8th day. Okay, line is not straight, but okay, I am at the 8th day. I want to know what is the progress of my project at the 8th day. Okay, suppose at the 8th day, when I saw my P activity is completed this much, my P activity is completed this much, my Q activity is completely completed. Okay, my R activity is completed this much. Okay, S is completed this much. Okay, and this is completed to its level. Is it okay? Is it okay? Now if you see carefully, ideally on the 8th day your P activity should be completed this much. Okay, all the way up to here. Okay, your Q activity is over, so it does not matter. Your R activity should be this much more. Okay, your S activity should be this much more. Is it okay? So the blue one that is representing is the lag in your project. Is it not? The lag in your project. Ideally, when you are looking at the 8th day, this much should be your progress, but some of the activities are lagging behind. Is it not? Some of the activities are lagging behind. So in this way you can review your bar chart. Is it okay? You can review your bar chart. Okay, that is what I wanted to tell you. Moving on to the next thing, that is your milestone chart. Okay, milestone chart. After bar chart came milestone chart that we have already seen. Okay, milestone chart. Okay, and after milestone chart came your network analysis. Okay, network analysis. So we are here, we have completed bar chart. Now we want to study what is your milestone chart. Milestone chart is a slight improvement. Okay, only a slight improvement over bar chart. As the name suggests, milestone. Okay, milestone. What does milestone means? Milestone means that intermediate completion or intermediate success. Okay, let me say that. Suppose just now I give you an example, right? Just now I gave you an example of foundation. Okay, this is the example. Okay, construction of foundation set. So these individually, these 5 things are your 5 milestones. Okay, 5 milestones. So what I will do here is, suppose if I am representing my construction of activity, yeah, construction of foundation like this. Okay, this blue one is my construction of foundation. Is it okay? Construction of foundation. So somewhere here I am saying it is 1, 2, that is your steel bonding, third is your molding, okay, fourth is your concreting, and fifth is finally your removal of molds. So here these 1, 2, 3 are your individual milestones in this complete activity. So that is what this milestone chart has done. What it has done is it has broken down, okay, it has broken down individual activities into milestones. Okay, this is how you were representing your activity, is it not? Now in milestone chart what will happen, you will have individual milestones here, so that you can better review your project. Okay, that is the only purpose, so that you can better review your project. Okay, limitations, as you can guess, this is very slight improvement only. Limitations are still there. There is no activity interrelationship. Okay, activity interrelationship is still not there. So this is an example of milestone chart. Okay, milestone chart. Okay, as you can see here, it is very similar to bar chart, exactly similar to bar chart, but you have these intermediate milestones that are mentioned here. Okay, intermediate milestones that are mentioned here, that will better help you review the project. Okay, that will help you better review the project. Moving on to the important section. Okay, till now we have studied what is not in use. Now we will study what is actually in use. What actually is in use these days is your network analysis. It is an improvement over all bar chart as well as your milestone chart. Is it okay? Bar chart as well as your milestone chart. Activity interrelationships are established. Time uncertainty is also considered. Controlling can be done. Rescheduling can also be done. So it has all the benefits. Is it okay? All the benefits over milestone chart and bar chart. Let's start. First, let me tell you something about WBS. WBS is work breakdown structure. This is very common. This is very common in civil engineering. Okay, suppose you have a big activity like construction of building. Okay, suppose this is your project, this is your main activity. What will you do now? Okay, to simplify your project, you will break this construction of building into further sub activities. Like you may divide this construction of building into underground structure, okay, and above level surface or above ground surface. Okay, our above ground structures or underground structure. Further, you can divide this underground structure into foundation and beams. Okay, into subsystems you can divide. Okay, similarly you can divide the above structures into subsystems. Okay, and further they can also be broken. This is called as your work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure simply means that you have to break down your activity into further into sub activities. Is it okay? Each activity is broken down into sub activity. That is what the meaning of work breakdown structure. Okay, it works from top to bottom. Sometimes it is asked in objective like this: how does WBS work? So the answer is top to bottom. Of course, you have to start from your main activity and then break it down the downward direction to your sub activities. Is it okay? So it works from top to bottom. This is what is the question asked in objective. Moving on, what is an activity? Okay, what is an activity? Just now I have told you, like example I have given you for design of foundation. Okay, design of foundation is an activity. Okay, an activity is an operation. Okay, definition is like this: it is an operation that consumes some amount of resource and time. Okay, except I have given dummy activity. Okay, except dummy activity, all activities will consume resource and time. Okay, so this is how your activity is defined. It will consume some amount of resource and it will consume some amount of time. Is it okay? Is it okay? How will I represent it? It is usually represented like this. You will have an arrow like this. Okay, in whole project management you will represent your activity like this. Suppose I am representing an activity A. So your activity A will be written on the top of this arrow. Here you will write the number of days or the duration of this activity. Suppose 5 days. So you will write below the arrow, you will write the duration. Okay, below the arrow you will write the duration. Is it okay? And then you will have a node here and you will have a node here. Is it okay? Is it okay? This is representing your activity. Okay, and these nodes represent your milestone. Is it okay? or event as they say, event. Okay, is this understood? This is how you are going to represent an activity. You will have an arrow. Okay, you will have an arrow, you will have a top node, and you will have a tail node. Is it okay? Okay, now the objective question sometimes that is asked, very simple, but sometimes people get confused. Okay, so I will tell you, one question is this one. Okay, length of an arrow. Sometime in objective it is asked, what does the length of arrow signifies while representing an activity. Okay, so you should understand the length of arrow signifies nothing. Okay, you should always remember that your length of arrow signifies nothing. It has no significance. Okay, always remember. Sometimes people get confused. Okay, so your length is signifying nothing. Arrow is always from left to right, never from right to left. It is always from left to right. Okay, for example, series and parallel activities can be there. I have shown you A. Okay, after A, B is happening, so it will like this. Okay, something like this. This is called your series of activities. You can have parallel activities also. Okay, you can have parallel activities like this. You are having A, on parallel running activities B, another parallel running activity is C. So activities can also run in parallel. Okay, moving on, what you have learned now is the representation. Okay, what I want you to learn by now is the representation of activity. Is it okay? I am showing you again. You will have an arrow. Okay, you will have an arrow. You will write your activity name at the top and the duration at the bottom of the arrow. Is it okay? You will have a tail node. Okay, and you will have a head node. Is it okay? Some number will be written here like 1, 2. This is just so that your activity A can be identified. Identified means that your A activity can be written as 1, 2. Okay, this node numbering helps to identify or provide a distinct identity to your activity. So always remember, this numbering also plays an important role in big projects, in big and complex projects. Okay, so this is how you are going to represent. Moving on, event. Let's talk about event. I have already told you, if you are representing your activity like this, okay, if you are representing your activity like this, these nodes are representing your events. Okay, events mostly representing the start and the finish. Okay, events are mostly representing the start and the finish. Suppose this event is representing the start of A. Is it okay? And this event is representing finishing of A. Is it okay? They are mostly representing the start and the end of an activity. Okay, so event is a milestone that represent start and end of activity. No need to remember the definitions. Okay, you should just understand in your mind what it means. No need to by heart the definition. Nobody is asking you definitions. Okay, this is just a random point. They can be circle, or okay, sometimes they don't draw circle, they will draw an oval, or they will draw a rectangle. Okay, they are all appreciated, or they are all acceptable. Okay, now I want to show you something. Suppose you are having something like this. Okay, suppose you are having one event here, another here, another here, and another here. Okay, this node, as you can see, this is your arrow, right? This is your arrow, so this is the tail of the arrow. So this event is called as your tail event. Is it okay? And this event is called as your head event. For what? For this activity X. Is it okay? For this activity X. Now suppose I am talking about this activity Y. Okay, for this activity Y, this is your tail event. Okay, this is your tail event, and this one is your head event. Is it okay? Head and tail event you are able to understand. Okay, for the activity it is defined. Okay, now suppose I am talking about this activity Z. For Z, this is your tail event, and this is your head event. Is it okay? So from here you can make your conclusions. All the conclusions you can make here. Okay, suppose I am numbering this 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the start of your project. Okay, and this is the end of your project. Is it okay? So I can say that your start of project always starts with the tail event. Is it clear? Okay, is it clear? Your start of project will always be with a tail event. And also I can say that the end of my project is always with a head event. Is it okay? The end of the project is also always going to be a head event. Intermediate, you can see here, okay, you see here, focus here, okay, this node 2 is a head event also, it is a tail event also, okay, head event also and tail event also. So all the intermediate nodes, all the intermediate role are going to be dual role event. They are called dual role event. Okay, I have written here dual role event. Very simple, I think understandable. Okay, moving on. Yes, this is very important. Okay, this is very important and people usually make mistake in this. Dummy activity. Dummy activity. First of all, you should understand what dummy activity is and how will I represent it. Okay, let's start with representation. Represented by dashed arrow. Represented by dashed arrow. It is never by a solid arrow, it will be like this, a dashed arrow. Is it okay? This will represent your dummy activity. As I already told you in the definition, it will not consume any resource or time. Okay, it's a fictitious activity, it's just made up type of activity for our convenience. It does not exist physically, so it is not going to consume any resource or time. Is it okay? It is not going to consume any resource or time. Here I have shown you an example of dummy activity. Okay, this type of activity is called as your dummy activity. We will see when we need dummy activity. Moving on. Yes, why we need a dummy activity? Why do we need a dummy activity? Okay, there are two reasons. There are two reasons why we need dummy activity. First one is called, okay, let me show you in slide only. Okay, first one is called as your grammatical purpose. This is your first reason why you need dummy activity. Is it okay? Why you need dummy activity? First reason is grammatical purpose. Okay, grammatical purpose. Let me explain you what this grammatical purpose means. Okay, consider this diagram. Consider this diagram. Okay, suppose I want to represent, there are two activities A and B. Okay, A and B are two activities. Their logic is explaining that they start at same time. Okay, they start at same time and they end at same time. That is what the logic is saying. Okay, they start at the same time and they end at the same time, but this representation, okay, this representation is absolutely wrong. Is it okay? This type of representation is absolutely wrong. Why? Why it is wrong? You see this, if you want to write A, how will you write it? 1, 2 from this figure. If you want to write A, this is your 1, this is your 2, you will write A as 1, 2. If you want to write B, you will again write 1, 2. Is it okay? This is what the problem is. This is what the problem is. You don't have distinct numbers for individual activity. These two are distinct activities. You should have distinct number for activities. Okay, so you cannot have this type of thing. This is called grammatical error in network diagrams. Is it okay? Grammatical error in network diagrams. This cannot happen. So in this case, you have to introduce a dummy activity. Now let me draw a dummy activity. Okay, let me draw a dummy activity. Okay, don't see this, I'm just going to draw it. Okay, now what you are given with, you are given that A and B, okay, start at same time. Okay, start at same time, and your A and B finish at same time. This is what you have to imply with your network diagram. Okay, this is what you have to imply, or this is the logic that you have to imply with your network diagram. Okay, now they start at the same time. Okay, so suppose this is my starting event 1. Here my A activity has started, here my B activity has started. Now they end at the same time. Now they end at the same time. Okay, now they end at the same time. So what you can do, you can do like this, but this is producing an error. Okay, this is producing an error of identity. Okay, so you cannot do this. Now what will I do? Now what will I do? What will I do here is, I will produce a dummy node, or rather I am going to produce a node here. Okay, I am going to produce a node here, and what I will do, I will just write a node here also. Okay, and I will do like this, dummy activity. Okay, I will number it. Suppose I can number this 2 or 3, doesn't matter. You can number this 2 or 3 also. Okay, This is called your dummy activity. Now you see your network diagram, you can see that your problem is solved. Okay, A and B are both starting at the same time, is it not? And they are finishing at the same time too. Okay, they are finishing at the same time too. You can draw this arrow, this also, you can draw the arrow like this also. This is also correct. Is it okay? Okay, so your network diagram is always correct if your logic is implied. Okay, if your logic is implied. So this is what is the meaning of dummy purpose, and this is one of the reasons why you have to provide dummy activity. I call it loss of, you can remember it like this, loss of identity. Okay, whenever you are having loss of identity, you have to provide a dummy activity. Moving on, second thing is loss of logic, logical purpose. I call it loss of logic. So you have two things. Okay, loss of identity and loss of logic. What is the loss of logic? Okay, loss of logic. Okay. First of all, you cannot repeat the same activity twice in your network. Okay, one activity should be mentioned only once. So this type of showing is wrong. This type of representation is wrong, because you cannot show your same activity twice in any network diagram. Okay, now what will I do? I cannot show P twice. So what will I do? Here is, I cannot show P twice, right? So what will I do? I will just produce a node here. Okay, and I will remove this activities from here. I will make this dummy, and I will shift my P here. Okay, does this solve my problem? You look here. Okay, if you look carefully, my problem is solved. I now mention P only once, and I have introduced dummy activities. Is it okay? So whenever you are losing your logic, okay, this type of problem is arising, then you have to provide a dummy activity. We will see more dummy activity as it comes. Okay, we will solve many questions and you will become an expert in drawing network diagram. So don't worry if you are not able to understand right now. Okay, we will solve enough questions, you will be able to understand. Now what will happen is, whenever you are drawing your network diagram, okay, okay, before I move forward, let me just sum up. Okay, let me just sum up here. Okay, so that you feel that you know everything. Okay, summary of this point. Okay, dummy activity we have discussed. Dummy activity, I have told you that it is an activity that does not consume any resource or time. It is represented by dashed arrow. Okay, it is provided in two scenarios, as I call it loss. Okay, loss of identity. Okay, one is loss of identity and the other one is loss of logic. Is it okay? Okay, these are the two times when you have to provide your dummy activity. Moving on, rules for removing a redundant dummy. Okay, redundant dummy. Now what does this mean? This means that, okay, when you move forward, we will see a number of questions. Okay, my advice to you is, listen very carefully, this is very important. You provide as many dummy as you wish. Okay, as many dummy as you wish. You provide as many dummy as you wish, no problem. Okay, but then what you do in exam, he will ask you to remove your additional dummies which are not required. Okay, first you provide as many dummy as you want, but then you have to remove your redundant dummy. Redundant dummy means the dummies which are not required, their logic is already implied. Okay, those dummies you have to remove. Okay, how will you remove it? You have 5 golden rules. Okay, you have 5 golden rules to remove this redundant dummy. They are very simple. Okay, they are very simple. You can always remember them, very easy. Okay, rule number 1, let's go through them very quickly. Okay, rule number 1, if dummy originates from one node only, if only one dummy is originating. Okay, what he is trying to say, suppose you have a node, okay, and the only thing that is coming out of this node is a dummy activity. Okay, is a dummy activity, then what you can do, this P is there, right? This node is there. This node is having only one activity coming out, and that is a dummy activity. So what you can do, you can put it here directly. Okay, you can put your P directly. This dummy node is not required. Is it okay? This dummy node is not required. Okay, is this dummy node required? you look here, okay, this node is there. Is this the only activity that is coming out of this node? No, B is also coming out from here, so you cannot remove this. This is all right, okay, but you can remove this and you can bring your P forward. It will look something like this. Okay, I think it is simple, you are able to understand. Okay, first thing, so the first rule becomes, if dummy is the only activity coming out, okay, of a node, is it okay, then you can remove that dummy node, dummy activity. Okay, second rule is again very simple. It is just the same. Instead of coming out from an activity, if dummy is the only activity that is going inside this node, then also you can remove this redundant dummy. For example, look here, okay, look at this activity. First I want you to look at this activity. Okay, this is your node. Is the dummy node only node coming out of only activity coming out of this one node? No, you have this also, and this also. So you cannot put this A directly here. Okay, now look at this activity 3. Now I want you to look here. Okay, don't look at 2 first, look at 3 first. Okay, is dummy the only activity going into 3? No, your P is also going inside, so you cannot, this is not your redundant dummy. This is okay. Now look here, this one 1 2. Okay, in 2, if you see, dummy activity is the only activity that is going in, so this activity is your redundant activity. You can remove this. What you can do, you can directly join your B to 1. That is what has been done. Now you can remove your redundant activity or dummy activity and you can join your B to this node. Is it okay? Very similar. Instead of coming out, now it is going it. Earlier it was like this. Okay, earlier it was like this, so you can remove this redundant dummy. Now it is like this, so you can remove your redundant dummy. These are the 2 simple rules. Moving to the next rules. Next 2 rules are also like, pair. Okay, if 2 activities have the same set of predecessor, okay, predecessor means something like parents. Okay, predecessor means like parents. Suppose you are here, okay, you are here, your parents, okay, your parents are your predecessors and your children are going to be your successor. This will be your predecessor, okay, and your children are going to be your successor. You remember it like this, okay, predecessor and successor. Is it okay? Predecessor and successor. Now what he is trying to say, if 2 activities have same set of predecessors, okay, there can be not necessarily 2, okay, there can be 2 or more than 2. If they have same set of predecessor, that means same parents. Okay, you look at these 2 activities. Okay, this 5 and 6 node. Okay, 5 and 6 node. Okay, your B activity, this B activity is dependent on what? Is dependent on A and C. How do I know this? How do I know this? Look here, be very careful. Okay, this is your B activity, right? You go back from the arrow. Okay, you go back like this. Okay, it is dependent on A. Is it okay? You go back like this. It is dependent on C. Okay, it is dependent on C. Is it okay? Now similarly you look at D. Similarly you look at D. This is your D. If you go back like this, it is dependent on A, and you go back like this, it is dependent on C. Is it okay? So your B is dependent on A and C, and your D is also dependent on A and C. That is, we can say that B and D have the same set of parents. Is it okay? Same set of parents. So what you can do, you can transform this into one node. At center you can place a node and you can directly evolve B and D from it. Okay, this type of transformation can be made. I think you are able to understand. It is simple. If you have same set of parents, you can remove 2 of the dummy nodes. Okay, you can remove 2 of the dummy nodes and put a single node here. Is it okay? Moving on. 4th rule, rule number 4. Okay, if 2 activities have the same successor or same children, then also you can apply this type of thing. Is it okay? Now look here, you see activity A. Activity A has one disk predecessor or successor and another successor is S. Is it okay? So it depends on Q and S, or Q and S are the children of A. And you look at B, again you will see that Q and S are the children of A. So you can do the same thing. Now what you can do, you can put a node here and join A and B right here like this. like this. Look here. Okay, is it okay? Is it okay? Okay, so what this rule works like is, if you have same set of children, rather than remembering it as successor, you remember it as children. Same set of children if you are having, you can join the parents. Is it okay? You can join the parents. This is how you can remember. Okay, and in previous rule what was there, if you have same set of parents, you can join the children. Okay, you can join the children. That is easy to remember. Last is, don't repeat logic that is already implied. Okay, don't repeat the logic that is already implied. Is it okay? Now you look here, what does this mean? Okay, what does this mean? Now B depends on A. Is it okay? B depends on A. P depends on B. See here, B depends on A, and your P, you move back. Okay, you move back like this. So your P depends on B. Is it okay? Your Q depends on P. Okay, your Q depends on P. Is it okay? Is this implying that your Q depends on A also? Is this an implied logic? Okay, implied logic. Okay, so look, your B depends on A, and your B itself is depending on P, and then your P is dependent on Q. So obviously your Q is dependent on A. This is already implied. So you have put this dummy node to imply that your Q is dependent on A, which was already an implication. So this is redundant. You can remove it. It is not required in your network diagram. Okay, is it okay? So these are the 5 golden rules. Let me just sum up these rules. Okay, let me just sum up these rules. They're very, very simple. They occur in pair. You can very easily remember. Okay, I'm telling you this rule. Okay, if you have a situation like this, if you have a node and the only activity coming out of it is your dummy activity, you can remove it. Is it okay? Second is, if you have a node like this and the dummy activity is the only activity going into this node, then you can remove this dummy node. Third is, if you have the same set of parents, okay, same set of parents, you can join the child or join the children. Is it okay? Okay, similarly, if you have same set of children, okay, you can join the parents. Is it okay? And the fifth one is your already implied logic should not be repeated. Is it okay? These are the 5 golden rules to remove redundant dummy. Is it okay? These are the 5 golden rules to remember dummy. Okay.